Good morning, dear students. Today's class, we are going to learn about broader meaning of democracy. Broader meaning of democracy. See, already we learned a lot of things about the definition of the democracy. So democracy means it is a elected representatives government. It is a people. This is a government of the people, and even so, we knows that the famous quote by the ex-president of America, Abraham Lincoln. So that is about by the people, for the people, and of the people. So democracy means people's government. Democracy means it is one of the government where the elected representatives are forming the government and running the government. And democracy means where people they are directly participating through the elections, and it is one of the accountable government. See, like this various the different the things we learned, and we can came to know that the system of the democracy. See, in this chapter, we have considered the meaning of a democracy in a limited and descriptive sense. In a limited and descriptive sense, people's government, elected rulers forming the government and running the government, elected representatives government, and people they are electing their representatives. So like this, so on, so things. See, we have understood democracy as a form of government. Yes, of course, it is one of the form of government. See, this way of defining democracy helps us to identify a clear set of minimal features that, especially, a democracy must have those features. See here, the most common form that democracy takes in our times is that of a representative democracy. It is what we are following, the modern democracies, especially except Swiss, because in Switzerland they are following the direct democracy, and that is also the representative democracy. See here, we came to know that the democracy it is the form of government, and is that of a representative democracy. Representative democracy. See, already we learned about these all the things in the previous classes. And in the countries we call democracy, all the people do not rule. That we have to keep it in our mind. So, for example, India is one of the democratic countries. Then I told very clearly that democracy it is the people's government. That doesn't mean all the people of the country, they are not going to rule. The people of the country do not rule. So, a majority is allowed to take decisions on behalf of the all people. This we know very clearly. See, whoever it may be, those who are residing in the country, they are actually not forming the government, because this is a the elected representatives government. Democracy means it is one of the representative system of the government. See here, all the people do not have, all the people they are not going to rule. Here, the majority of the people or the majority is allowed to take decision on behalf of the people. And even the majority does not rule directly. This also we have to keep in our mind. The majority does not rule directly also. See, the majority of the people rule through their elected representatives. They are going to rule through through their elected representatives, and this became necessary in democracy. So it is clear now. A majority is allowed to take decisions on behalf of all the people. And here, even the majority also does not rule directly. And the majority of the people through their elected representatives, and this becomes necessary also because there are different reasons are there. So let us see the important reasons for this. The one thing is that modern democracies involves such a large number of people that it is physically impossible for them to sit together and take a collective decisions. For example, in India, there are about 130 plus crore people are there. Whether is it possible to sit all these 130? Okay, 100 crore will. Whether is it possible all these 100 crore people, all else, only the 50 crore people, whether is it possible to sit together and take, especially physically, whether is possible, highly impossible. So they cannot sit together, it's not at all possible also, and even they cannot take the collective decisions also. Suppose in a member, I mean in a family, if we are 3 to 4 members, so sometimes there we can see the different opinions among the different family members. If there is a 4 to 5 members, means there is a 4 to 5 opinions, and there are more than 5 opinion also. And in a classroom, there are 20 or 30 students are there, means there we can see number of decisions, and even sometimes we cannot come to conclude also the and even we cannot clear about the final decision also. So in this case, if all this, the large number of the people, if they are sit together and if they are going to take a collective decisions, whether is it possible in a democracy? Not at all possible. And even if they could, the citizen does not have the time. Who can sit? If then how is it possible to make arrangement for all this, the number of crore people where they are assembled? And even we cannot imagine also, it's so difficult in a practically. See, the citizens does not have the time, the first thing. Even if they are having time also, where we can arrange the place for them, and the desire or skills to take part in all the decisions, how it's possible? So, this also. So there are many technical problems are there in this case. See, that's what this gives us these two reasons. The first thing, that the democracy involves such a large number of the people that it is physically impossible for them to sit together and take a collective decisions. And the second reason, that so even if they could also, the citizen does not have time and the desire. No, they don't have time, they don't have the desire, or they even the skills to take part in the decision also. How many of they are able to take decision? No, all the people, some of they are not interested, some of them they doesn't know anything also regarding all these things. So they don't have any these kind of political skills what the democracy is requires. See, this gives us a clear but minimal understanding of democracy. It is a clear, this gives a very clear and even the minimal understand of democracy, that clarity helps us to distinguish democratic form of the government from non-democracies. We can compare, we can see the difference between the democracy and the non-democracies, but it does not allow us to distinguish between a democracy and a good democracy. So please keep it on. Of course we can, We can identify and we can make and we can note the difference between the democracies and the non-democracies. But it does not allow us to distinguish between or differentiate between democracy and a good democracy. If there is a difference between, of course, we can't. The difference between democracy and a good democracy. Are you getting now? And it does not allow us to see the operation of democracy behind government. It does not allow us to see the operation of democracy behind government. So for this we need to turn to broader meaning of democracy. And my dear students, sometimes we use democracy for organizations other than the government just by reading some of the statements. I would like to read some of the statements. The first one, see, we are a very democratic family. We all of us, we are a very democratic family. See, whenever a decision has to be taken, we all sit together and sit down and arrive at a consensus. So, my opinion matters as much as my father's. It is one thing. And the second, I don't like teachers who do not allow students to speak and ask questions in the class. So these are the different statements. And I would like to have teachers with a democratic temperament. See this beautiful statement. I don't like because in a democracy, of course, it's a very common in classroom. Some of the teachers they used to say, "Hey, don't ask anything," or after the completion of class, or you can ask. And the students may not like those teachers, those who are not allowed to speak, and even those who are not allowed to ask questions in the class. But the students like to have teachers with a democratic, what we call temperament, with a democratic temperament. See, if the students are allowed to ask the questions, to clear their doubts, or if they are free to speak regarding subject, that is what we can then see the democratic temperament. And then one more, one leader and his family members decide everything in this party, how can they talk of democracy? If suppose one leader and his family members decide everything in the family or in this party, so how can they talk of democracy? So here it is very clear that democracy allows everybody to speak over. They are very free and more than so they have the rights. And in these ways, dear students, the using the word democracy go back to this basic sense of a method of taking decisions. It's all about the method of or a method of taking decisions. See, a democratic decision involves already I told that mainly it is about consultation and consent of all those who are affected by that decisions. This we have to keep in our mind. A democracy and in a democratic decisions involves consultation with and consent of all those who are affected by that decisions. So those who are not powerful have the same say in taking the decisions as though who are powerful. They may unable to take their own decisions and even in the same. See, this can apply to a government or a family or any other organization. So thus, democracy is also a principle that can be applied to any sphere of our life. Are you getting now? So this can apply to a government or family or any other organizations. So thus democracy is also a principle that can be applied to any sphere of that. Sometimes we use the word democracy not to describe any existing government but to set up an ideal standard that all democracies must aim to become. Are you getting these, students? See, sometimes we use the word democracy not to describe any existing government, but to set up an ideal standard that all democracies must aim to become. See, true democracy will come to this country only when no one goes hungry to bed. It's all the things because the democracy is there for the people. The governments are there. The democratic, the system is there means so it is one of the welfare government which is completely for the people. And dear students, in a democracy, every citizen must be able to play equal role. There is no discrimination or practice of discrimination irrespective of so and so things. See, in a democracy, every citizens, all citizens in a democracy, so must be able to play equal role, especially in decision making. They are not going to consider their any other background. And for this, dear students, you don't need just an equal right to vote. If it is their right, equal right to vote, no. And every citizen needs to have equal information also. Every citizen so require the needs about to have equal information, especially this equal information, basic education, and equal resources and a lot of commitment. This is all required. So every citizen needs to have all this, especially not only the right to vote or not only the right to equality, especially every citizen needs to have equal information, basic education, equal resources, and also a lot of commitment. And also there is the commitment also. See, my dear students, if we take these ideals seriously, then no country in the world is a democracy. Sir, what you are going to say in this? Whatever we discussed in this session, my dear students, if you are going to take all these ideals serious way, and then we can say no country in the world is a democracy. But even though, dear students, an understanding of democracy as an ideal reminds us of why we value democracy. There is the beautiful quote in Kannada. I think you all of you knows that. ಹೇಳ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಮೇಡಮ್, ಖಾಲಿ ಕೈಗಿಂತ ಹಿತ್ತಾಳೆ ಕಡಗನರು ಅಂತ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ದ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಡೆಮಾಕ್ರೆಟಿಕ್ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಡೆಮಾಕ್ರಸಿ ಆರ್ ದ ಡೆಮಾಕ್ರೆಟಿಕ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್. See, dear students, the democracy is there now when, because we are not at an understanding of democracy as an ideal reminds us of why we value democracy. Why we value democracy. And it enable us to judge an existing democracy. It's enable to us to judge an existing democracy and identify its weakness. So we are unable to judge about the democracy, and even we can judge and even we can identify the weakness of the system also. And it helps us to distinguish between a minimal democracy and good democracy. See, all the things I would like to tell one thing after discussing. See, the system of the democracy, it is one of the best, there is no doubt, but it is depend upon who are practicing, who are involving, including the citizens of the respective country. Democracy, that is the fine. But who are following, who are become rulers, who are electing, so they must work in a proper way. Are you getting now? So this is the distinguish between a minimal democracy and a good democracy. See, actually, in this chapter, we do not deal much with this what we call the expanded notion of democracy. Just our focus here is with some core institutional features of democracy as a form of government. Whatever we are learning, so that's not. We are not going to focus a lot, and we are not going to deal with much with the expanded notion to the democracies. So we are focusing a little bit. So with some core institutional features of democracy as a form of government. That's all, dear students. And when you will come to the next class in the 10th standard, there we are going to learn a democratic society and a ways of evaluating our democracy in 10th standard. Are you getting now? So just we are focusing on some aspects. And next class when you will come, now there we can going to learn a lot about a democratic society and as well as so the ways of evaluating our democracy. And my dear students, at this stage we just need to note that democracy can apply to many spheres of life, and that democracy can take many forms, and there can be various ways of taking decisions in a democratic manner as long as the basic principles of consultation and an equal basis is accepted. See, the most common form of democracy in today's world is rule through, especially rule through people's elected representatives. It is one of the common feature of the democracy. Democracy means there is the government, there is the elected ruler. So they are actually elected by the citizens. Okay. So it's the government where the government is running through people's elected representatives. Are you getting now? So regarding this, we are going to learn little more about in the fourth chapter also. And if the community, and one more thing, if the community is small, there can be other ways of taking democratic decisions. But all the people can sit together and take decisions directly. It's that's what I told the direct democracy and the indirect democracy. It's now in the world in Swiss only. It's and there is how Gram Sabha should work in a village, because in a Gram Sabha, all the members of the Gram Sabha, so they are sitting together and they are taking decisions directly. So can you think of some other democratic ways of decision making? You can think, you can imagine. So how is it possible to take, or what are the different ways to sit together, to sit and to gather in a place, and how can we take so the direct decisions and all. And one more thing, we have to keep it in our mind. This also means that no country is a perfect democracy. If democracy means we can't say, we can't call this the perfect one. So there is no country is a perfect democracy. And the features of democracy that we are discussed in this chapter provide only the minimum conditions of a democracy. It is only the minimum conditions. and that does not make it an ideal democracy, whatever we are discussing. And every democracy has to try to realize the ideals of a democratic decisions making, and this cannot be achieved once and for all. It's not possible also, and this requires a constant effort to save and strengthen democratic form of decision making. And what we do as citizens can make a difference to making our country more or less democratic. And this is the strength and weakness of democracy. The fate of the country depends not just on what the rulers rule, but mainly on what we as citizens do. Because we are electing, we are choosing our. So that's what this is the strength and the weakness of a democracy. That fate of the country depends not just on what the rulers do, but mainly on what we as citizens do. And this is what, dear students, the distinguish democracy from other governments, and other forms of government like monarchy, dictatorship, or even one party political or rule, or military government, or communist form of the government, and so on and so forth. See, the democracy depends on active political participation by all the citizens. You all of you knows that when we are conducting elections, so the percentage of the vote it is so less in some of the constituency and in some of the area. See, the success of the democracy completely depend on the voters, and the success of the democracy depend upon the how these citizens they are going to choose their representatives. And the democracy depends on active political participation. Are you getting now? It's all about the political participation. And that is why the study of democracy must focus on democratic policies. If there is no active participation, if the people or the citizens they are not interested to take part in the politics, and if they are not going to cast their vote also, see how can we expect the outputs. So that's what the democracy is completely depends on the active political participation by all the citizens. And as well as that is why a study of democracy must focus on democratic politics. So by this I would like to conclude this chapter. So the democracy it is completely depend upon the that respective countries citizens, how they are going to involve in the government, how they are going to take part in the government. So it is all about political participation. Thank you. Have a nice day.